16, the Wakefield Trinity 4. Oh dear, Wakefield Trinity fans, it's not looking good, is it? I'm not declaring relegation today, but this time next week, post the league game, I might just very well be doing that. And I do indeed feel your pain. I think there was a few positives there. I mean, there's a few players last night that you really saw how much it meant to them, how much passion they had for the Wakefield shirt. Kershaw, yes, even though he will blame himself for the try that was conceded at the end there with Greg Eden, you could see the anguish, couldn't you, on his face? There's no question that the young man is passionate and he's playing for his future and he knows that. I thought Smith in the halves, he also had a decent game. I think there was too much pressure on Lino. I mean, quite crabby, really. Bit too much left and right. Just offloaded the ball. That little ball where the halfback just runs across the line quite sluggishly and just says, "There you go. You have a little run down the middle." Is that really what's required? No, I don't think it is. And a lot of that was happening inside the 20 meters. Speaking of the 20 meters, Wakefield, how much time did they spend in the 20 meters of the Castleford Tigers half? Certainly in the first half, they had probably the territory in the first half, but they just couldn't convert it into points. And why? Because they're only averaging 5.8 points a game. That's it. 5.8 points per game is all that they're averaging. You compare that to Toulouse, 15.6 last year, who were relegated. And the year before that, Lee, remember Lee? When Lee came up at the last minute, they were mustering 16.8 points a game. 16.8, 15.6, 5.8. It's hard to see how Wakefield are going to be able to, stem the tide, stay in Super League with a strike rate of 5.8 a game. That said, Samasoni Langi, good try from him. And he actually had, for me, perhaps their best performance. Not because of the try, just look at the stats. Loads of carries, plenty of runs. I think it was over 170 metres. He had a really, really good game. Wakefield are in trouble. We know they're in trouble. It's very difficult to see how they are going to survive. I've got big reservations over these loans, these swap deals that they're doing, short-term loan deals that they're doing. Is that going to work? With all due respect to those players, have they got the pride? Have they got the passion at this moment in time to fight Wakefield out of a relegation? I don't know if they have. What they need is the players where that badge means something to them to truly, truly step up. I think Applegarth last night in the press conference after the game, both on Sky but also back in the sheds, he looks a defeated man. Will he hold on to his job? I really don't know. I just don't know what Wakefield would achieve by changing the coach. But then again, sometimes that change of face, that change of attitude in the changing room can just bring something new out of those players. I do think it's going to be a few sleepless nights for Applegarth. It may even be announced today. Will they give him until the league game, perhaps? Because that is a massive, massive game. But by then, Lee could be 8 points clear. 8 points clear. Lee, who'd have thought that? 8 points clear if they go and beat Salford tomorrow. 8 points clear. And that is a real possibility because of those two teams, Salford and Lee, you'd have to say, Lee, the consistency of Lee's performances has perhaps been a little bit better. Anyway, that's enough about Wakefield. We'll see if it gets any better next week. But yeah, I don't think it will. Anyway, Castleford, yeah, they did what they needed to do, didn't they? Outstanding performance. Greg Eden back on the wing, 103 appearances, 98 tries for Castleford. 103 appearances, 98 tries. This boy knows how to put the ball over that line, doesn't he? And get the football important 4-pointers. 2 man of the match performances as well, of course, over Leeds and over Castleford, both on Sky. So well done to Greg Eden, quality player without question. I'm really impressed with Broadbent in the halves. I think he's a running half back and he's causing defenses problems. He's putting them on the back foot. Really liking that. It's going to be interesting to see when Widdop comes back what happens with Broadbent. I thought Paul McShane perhaps had one of his better games of the season last night. Not sure he's any good with a boot, certainly from the touchline, but Paul McShane had a fine game as well. Castleford had to do what they had to do. It wasn't it wasn't a great game. It was a purist game. Do I think some people would have turned off? Yeah, but I personally enjoyed it. You could clearly see two teams lacking in confidence, desperately going for those 2 points. It was an intriguing game from my perspective. As for Andy Last, are they going to give him the job full time? Well, I mean, it's going to be an interesting week for Andy Last, the same as it's going to be an interesting week for Mark Applegarth in terms of will Applegarth keep his job? I think he's under severe pressure now. And, from an Andy Last performance, will he be given the job full time? Now, don't get me wrong, he's beaten their 2 biggest rivals in Leeds Rhinos and Castleford Tigers live on the TV. So that certainly bodes well for him. Maybe they'll give him another game to see how he gets on before they announce. Personally, I think if they were going to give Last the role, they maybe have announced it by now. But, stranger things have happened. Clearly, the players, they wanted to get the job, but results talk. Is 4 points enough? Is those 2 wins against Leeds and Castleford enough? We'll find out probably this week. We would expect an announcement on that this week. If not this, certainly next. They might give him the next game. And the same for Applegarth. We'll be probably waiting on an announcement there as well over this coming week. Not great, was it? It's a great try from Greg Eden, showing his pace down the line. Two different tries from Eden. But, this guy knows how to finish. And, Kershaw, just quickly going back to Wakefield, sometimes you just got to slide, my friend. Slide. What was the what was the dive for? Sometimes you've just got to slide. Josh Charnley, great example of that. He knows when to slide. He knows when to dive for the line. And I think last night, had Kershaw or slid for the line, maybe it'd have been an interesting last couple of minutes in that game for me. And the last thing I'd say about Wakefield as well, the passing when they should be running and running when they should be passing. That's what I saw last night. So. Yeah, big problems for them. But 16-4, the bank holiday weekend is underway. We've got two massive games today, and with the Hull Derby, Wigan Saints, and I'll be back in the sheds tomorrow discussing those games. But for now, enjoy your Good Friday, and we'll see you later on. Bye for now.